What's up, everybody? So, today we're going to talk about flight paths on the flat Earth map versus the globe model, and which one makes more sense and why. Alright, so first up, we're going to go from New York to Moscow. On the globe model, we have New York right here, right? Now, the flight that I typed in to get to there, all the way to Moscow over here, right? It's got you going all the way up to the tip of Greenland, Iceland, and curving back down. Now, let's check out the flat Earth model, shall we? Look at there! That's a straight shot from New York to Moscow. Huh. Now this next one's going to be America over here to Asia. So what they've got us doing is on the globe model is you're in America, they're flying up to Alaska and then curving back down to Asia right here. Okay. Now let's check out the flat Earth model. Yet again, straight shot from LA. Look, straight through Alaska. The fastest way to get somewhere is a straight line.
Oh, the Earth isn't flat, huh? NASA doesn't seem to think so. NASA publication report document on the derivation and definition of a linear aircraft model. This report documents the derivation and definition of a linear aircraft model for a rigid aircraft of constant mass flying over a flat, non-rotating Earth. Army Research Laboratory document, propagation of electromagnetic fields over a flat Earth. NASA document on trajectory simulation. This simulation assumes a vehicle with 6 degrees of freedom and aerodynamic symmetry in roll, and the missile position in space is computed relative to a flat and non-rotating Earth. Detection algorithm document from NASA. Only the range to the center of the field of view and the depression angle is known, so that a flat Earth approximation provides the best estimate. NASA document on stability and control estimation flight test results for the SR-71 aircraft assume a rigid vehicle and a flat, non-rotating Earth. Engineering experiment station document from Georgia Institute of Technology. A model frequently used is that of a flat and non-rotating Earth. NASA document on the mathematical model of the CH-53 helicopter. The nonlinear equations of motion used in the linearization program are general 6-degree of freedom equations representing the flight dynamics of a rigid aircraft flying in a stationary atmosphere over a flat and non-rotating Earth. NASA documentation on equations of motion. The helicopter equations of motion are given in body axes with respect to a flat and non-rotating Earth. NASA document on the aircraft landing model. The aircraft trajectory model employed in this study was derived based on the following assumptions. What does the first one say? The Earth is flat and non-rotating. The DPS equations of motion use 4 assumptions that simplify the program while maintaining its fidelity for most maneuvers and applications. Point mass modeling, non-turbulent atmosphere, 0 side forces, and a non-rotating Earth. NASA document on the projectile flight dynamic model with a liquid payload. A typical 6DOF rigid projectile model is employed to predict the dynamics of a projectile in flight. These equations assume a flat Earth. NASA documentation on the 2-dimensional flight. In this section, the 3-dimensional equations of motion are reduced for flight in a great circle plane, the XZ plane, over a flat and non-rotating Earth. Under the previously mentioned assumption of no side force and no side slip, the zeroth order equations of motion representing flight in a vacuum over a flat Earth. A property-based system design method with application to a targeting system for small UAVs. These targeting methods were considered assuming a flat Earth. The evaluation revealed a descending utility order of DTED, flat Earth, and range based upon the system's stated requirements. Through the government CIA website, cia.gov, and I came across this document. And let's just take a read at what it says, shall we? It appears that the government is taking photographic observations of the spectral intensity of the firmament. It also says that the spectral brightness of the firmament along the Alma-Centaur or the Alma-Centaura of the Sun was observed in the Pugachev and the Alma-Ata regions by means of a spectrograph with a glass lens system. Alma-Centaur means the solar trajectory of the Sun around the flat Earth. But yet, what do you know? Here we are back with another document from CIA.gov talking about a near-sun halo that's giving off perpendicular rays of light. Okay, the government knows that the Earth is flat and they're up there doing experiments on the firmament trying to get analytical data on it. Okay, the dissertation contains a certain formula of the brightness of the sky, taking into consideration only the brightness of the first order and derived on the assumption of a flat Earth and giving some conclusion derived on the basis of this formula. A method is also proposed of determining the brightness of the clear daylight sky at any point based on measuring the brightness along the almacantar of the sun and of 5 to 6 points of the firmament located at various zenith distances. And once again, for those who didn't catch it before, the word almacantar or almacantara means the solar trajectory of the sun around the flat Earth. Okay, but here we are yet again, CIA.gov, official document, talking about spectral photographic observations of the firmament. Okay, but we just looked at Wikipedia, okay, and the official narrative is that the firmament does not exist. But yet here we are on the CIA government website saying that the color temperature of the firmament amounts to 6,100 to 1,750 degrees Kelvin. What you guys are looking at is the Aeroflot Soviet Airlines 1962 aircraft. This was the original 1963 poster, and interestingly enough, this exact aircraft with the registration number on the side of the airplane, titled CCCP 86650, is now in the Public Civil Aviation Museum in Russia. This rare poster of the aircraft is actually from the middle of the last century.
What it is an airplane that shows what future air travel may look like. Yes, it's almost as wide as a football field is long with just one seat. But just as the Wright brothers couldn't carry passengers, Solar Impulse represents the first steps in solar-powered flight. And to prove its potential, they began flying it around the world, from Abu Dhabi last year, with stops in India and China, then across the vast Pacific. Remember, it has no fuel. It then was on to the United States, hopscotched across America, powered only by the sun, and now it has crossed its last ocean, the Atlantic. Not much further to go.
Hey you still believe that the Earth is a ball? Well, stick around and you're gonna find out that these emergency flight path landings prove in and of themselves that the Earth is flat and stationary. Take this flight for example. This flight was from Dallas to Beijing. Emergency happened along the way, so they decided to stop all the way up in Calgary. On the globe, makes no sense. But if you take a look at it on the flat Earth map, Dallas to Beijing, Calgary is along the way. There's another one. This flight was from Buenos Aires to Qatar. Emergency happened along the way, so they decided to stop all the way up in Rome. Honestly, that seems like a waste of gas. Like, why couldn't you just land somewhere here in Africa? But if you take a look at it on the flat Earth map, Buenos Aires to Qatar, Rome is along the way. This one seriously has to be obvious, guys. So this flight was from Santiago to Johannesburg. And remember guys, these are emergency landings, so they need to land the plane as quickly as possible. So they landed all the way up in Senegal, passing the equator. But if you take a look at it on the flat Earth map, Santiago to Johannesburg, Senegal is along the way, needing to pass the equator. My favorite one of them all has to be this one. This flight was from Auckland to Lima, Peru. But remember guys, these are emergency landings. So they decide to stop all the way up in Los Angeles. Like, do y'all see the problem here guys? On the globe, makes no sense. But if you take a look at it on the flat Earth map, Auckland to Lima, Peru, Los Angeles is along the way.
Good evening, aloha from Florida. So I'm at an airport tonight, and as I was picking somebody up, a couple of pilots walked by, and so I just smile at them and say, hey guys, is the Earth flat or round? One of them smiles and says, I think it's flat. The other guy, he said, it's round as far as I know. And the one that said, I think it's flat, he said, I'll show you a picture though where I used to fly high altitude in the military. And he said, you can kind of see the curve in this picture. He said, but I got a friend that tells me he can put a level right on that. So I asked them about their top of descent calculation, and they both just kind of raised their eyebrows like, maybe they hadn't thought about it before. But the top of descent calculation for an aircraft proves the Earth is flat because it assumes a flat baseline. All aeronautical formulas prove the Earth is flat and stationary. Flat Earth is the default position for all technologies. Have a great night. God bless.
So the first topic that the globe proponents will say is, you don't know how big that Pacific Ocean is. The Pacific Ocean takes up half of the globe, which it doesn't take up half the globe, but it takes up half the globe, and that's what makes this 99% of daylight possible. So we're going to bring this big ocean back here to the back. And we're going to put the terminator line right here on California, okay? Because we want the United States. A lot of people live here, and we're looking for people, not land. So we're going to cut this off in California. Let's come over here and see what we've got. So what we've ended up with is over half the population of China is in complete darkness. This has to be in daylight. Indonesia, way back here is Australia. It's all in complete darkness. Look at all this land that's in complete darkness. There's too many people here for this to work. So let's bring that Chinese population back on the terminator line. Let's step back over here and see what we've got. Well, looky there. Over half of the United States is now in complete darkness. To get 99% of the population, you've got to get more than that. Look how much of South America is in. There's a lot of people down here. You can't get 99% of the population in daylight on a globe. It does not work. So if you'd like to join us in the comments down below, give me your opinion on what I can do differently to make this work, because I've tried this. I've tried it with the axis of tilt pointed in a different direction, and that actually makes it even worse. So you have to point it like this, which is the way it's supposed to be for that time of year. But I can't find any place on this globe to where 99% of the population experiences some form of daylight all at the same time. It does not work.
Apollo 17.
What's wrong with this picture taken from Apollo 17? I'm not talking about the size of the Earth. I'm talking about perspective. How is it possible that you can watch the Earth so low from the lunar surface? This is the moon we are seeing every day, and this is the Apollo 17 land site. So it doesn't matter if you are watching this from USA or Australia, because you're always seeing the moon from one side. That's the visible side. And from Australia seeing this here, and from the USA it is just flipped, right? But this is the only side you are always seeing, not the other side, the so-called dark side. So you are just watching right at the head of the astronauts if you are on Earth, right? And the astronaut from the lunar side has to raise the head to the sky to see the Earth. This is the Earth, this is the moon. It's the only visible side of the moon. And here is the Apollo 17 landing site. And it doesn't matter if you're watching from this side or from this side, you always see this side. And you're always looking right at the head of the astronaut. The astronaut has to raise the head into the sky. It is impossible to take a picture like this. This is impossible. So the Earth needs to be much more higher. If this would be the real deal, then from the Earth side you would see much more from the so-called darker side. This here is the only visible side of the lunar, of the moon, and the Earth should be right at the top above, just like 12 o'clock sun.
Give us a flat earth model that can predict eclipses to the day. Also, explain what is even happening during an eclipse in your model. Did you know that what we observe every day debunks, destroys the globe religion? I'm going to show you how. There was a lunar eclipse on the 17th and 18th September, right? I took this image. I didn't have the filter, right? But it was only like 0.5% or 1% of the moon, right? The shadow of the moon was from the top right. This debunks the globe religion. Look, the shadow of the moon was from the top right. This is from Time and Death. You can look up yourself, all right? From Dublin, from my location, Dublin Island, I could observe it from top right, right? You see that from top right. This cannot happen in your globe region. One of the guys, check this out. This guy right here jumped in a box, tried to explain or demonstrate it using trickery, but he failed. He failed so badly. I'll show you. On time and date, Friday the 20th of September, the sun behind the moon. The same day, actually on the 18th of September, the sun was behind the moon, right? This is even to show that the moon produces its own light. It doesn't reflect the sun's light because the sun is 93 million miles away in your globe region, and the moon is actually closer to the earth. You cannot have a reflection from the sun, which is far away. But time and date is actually accurate, showing you that this doesn't work in the globe model. Now check this out. Do you know that they say that it's gonna be 2 moons for 2 months? They're actually saying it's an asteroid or something like that. Bro, these are heavenly bodies. Check this out. And there's gonna be another solar eclipse, sort of a solar eclipse in October, 2nd of October, right? If you can recall, I said that the sun is actually behind the moon at this moment. At this time, this is when the sun is going to overtake the moon. The sun is going to pass the moon, and then this can be explained properly in a flat earth, the shadow from west to east, right? So right here, as you can see, we all see the sun and the moon above the horizon. The sun is never behind the earth and the moon in front of the earth. It's never happened. It's always above us. Now, going back to this lunar eclipse, check this out. Now, this is where he failed so badly, very, very badly. You can see the shadow, right? You can see the shadow of the hand from bottom left, right? And the hand is hidden at the top right. That's a problem there. That's the issue, bro. That's a fail. That's a fail right there, because this shadow should be from top right, not bottom left.
Here's your model. All right. This is right now is what you're saying, correct?
The picture you were showing from Dublin.
Yeah. And you're looking at the moon from Dublin, right?
Yeah.
How am I seeing the moon right there if it's behind the earth?
You're not.
You're on a spinning ball. You're screwed.
You're on the same side of a ball. You're very close to each other,
No, you're
actually.
not on the same side of a ball.
Okay, let's split the ball in half like this. You're here, and Ireland is here. That is the same half of the ball.
Yeah, how you seeing that moon right there from there? All right. Okay, it's looking at the moon. Now, take your finger and go all the way to America.
This isn't even to scale, bro. If this was to scale, that
Yeah, it ain't to scale. Get out of here. It's not doing it in reality.
That's what you guys all said. There it is right there.
Anything's theoretical, but you can't prove it's happening right now.
I don't care about that. That's not the question.
If you don't care about it, that's one way to get off my live real quick. I don't care about that.
Again, the Earth
he's not genuine.
Cannot get in between the sun and the moon, because the sun and the moon, no matter who you are or where you are on this topographical plane, is always up.
It came in the mail and y'all are opening it with me. Ooh. Smell it. Woo! Here we go.
The Flat Earth map dates back over 1,000 years. This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer. His name was Al-Biruni, and he lived between 973 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Eddie Alenkar. Known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo, I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more. There are many people now selling this map online, but if you could order it from my online store, I would greatly appreciate it. Visit my online store now and order one of the items. I humbly thank you.